Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your 7-day Australia-only rainfall forecast. And most of the attention in this video is around the southeastern corner of Australia. Don't get offended if I'm not talking much about you elsewhere, because there's not a lot happening. But there is a lot going on, especially around Tasmania. More stormy weather thanks to the big lows down over the Southern Ocean. So this map shows air pressure. In the brighter shading, that is high pressure. And you can see that also over the Indian Ocean, as well as the Tasman Sea, or at least the southern part of the Tasman. South of Australia, though, you got this stormy stuff carrying on. That's what you see in the darker shading. So a cold front brushing along the southern coastline of Western Australia and moving into South Australia. Ahead of it, warmer northerlies, and they will be turning westerly for Tasmania in the coming days. So let's have a look and see what's going on. Here is the Friday rainfall and air pressure map. Now these maps show 24 hours of rainfall. If you're seeing the pale blue, sometimes people see that and think, oh, that's a day of rain. It's not. It just means a few showers at the very lowest end of the scale. So that's 24 hours of it building up, and even then it's still only pale blue. So it means it'll be a bit cloudy, a couple of showers around, nothing too much going on. Further to the south, you can see the cold front here moving in towards Port Lincoln. It'll be heading in towards Adelaide as you go through the day, but not very much the further north you go. But a few heavy downpours are possible here and there as you sort of get that mix of cold and warm air. There's not a lot of wet weather around New South Wales or Victoria. You can see that windy north to northwesterly, but rain does start to set into Tassie, especially in the northwestern corner, and just a few showers in the southwestern corner of Western Australia. All right, going into the weekend now. So that front carries on its track eastwards. So you do get some rain and showers moving into New South Wales, the odd downpour, hopefully some heavy ones for those of you that do need it. Once you go further north into Queensland, that's the sort of tail of it there, dropping back into the Northern Territory. Maybe a few isolated heavy downpours, but that is still showing 24 hours of rainfall, so it's not much if it's in that pale blue. Better chances the further down you go into New South Wales, the northern parts of, or northeastern parts of Victoria, and also going into the ACT. And then down in Tassie, that rain carries on. So you see some rain mostly in the northern half and the western side of Tasmania. So Hobart maybe not quite as exposed to that showery weather, and the cold airflow returns for you again on Saturday. So let's go into Sunday, and now the windy weather is really setting in across Tasmania. You got strong to gale force westerly winds and rain heavy at times over on the west coast, although it should only build up to about 50 or 20 millimetres, but some of those showers could be quite heavy and squally. You'll be getting that weather right up to King Island as well. And then you go into parts of Victoria, the further north you go, the more it tapers off. Still a few showers left over behind that cold front that we had at the moment that's moving through. So by Sunday, you can see showers going all the way back to the northern part of Western Australia, going up to Northern Territory as well, but it's not very much. And again, low rainfall totals, you might get a heavy downpour if you're lucky. So going into next week, Monday, high pressure returns around the Great Australia Bight. You can see that moving through here. That calms conditions down around coastal Western Australia to the south and right across South Australia. Still got southerlies coming into Victoria and the very corner of South Australia. There'll be a few showers in there, maybe coming into Melbourne as well, but it's not going to be very much. Drier to the east, not much going on in Sydney with a westerly blowing through for you. Sunny in Brisbane as well, sunny in Cairns, sunny in Darwin, sunny in Perth. There we go, easy forecast. But then we go to Tasmania, and it's a different story. Southerlies dominating there, rain heavy at times on the west coast. I don't think there'll be snow on the tops, but you might possibly get a dusting of snow on the very tops of the hills and mountains, but not so sure about that. But the southerlies are certainly coming through. Temperatures will be down, and it's windy. And it's more of a southerly, and it's hopefully not too problematic, but gale force southerlies are certainly in the forecast for Monday. And we go to Tuesday, and it carries on. Southerlies, cold weather for Tasmania. Now it drifts further into Victoria, especially the eastern side of Victoria, from Melbourne eastwards. Further to the west, it remains dry for most places. A couple of isolated showers in Western Australia and a couple of isolated coastal showers for the northern part of Queensland. But we do start to see that southerly feeding into New South Wales on the coast. Sydney southwards could be seeing a few showers, not so much further to the north. Once we get to Wednesday, or at least Tuesday night going into Wednesday, those showers move further up and they go into Queensland as well. Brisbane could get a few, and further north of that even as well, but they're not huge amounts. We're talking very small totals for most of you. You might be lucky enough to get 10 or 15 millimetres, but most of you 1, 2, 3, or not even that. So don't expect much as that front comes on through. The weather calms down in Tasmania on Wednesday next week, but we do start to see a few more showers in central parts of Western Australia, and they increase next Thursday with some heavy falls, mostly isolated and slightly outside of the main centres, but you do see that easterly wind kind of picking up a wee bit as it moves over to the western side, and you see showers also returning around Queensland. Some of those could be heavy and isolated, but once more, the main attention back to Tasmania. Windy southwesterlies, a cold change that comes into Bass Strait. Few showers brush the coastal areas of Victoria. Otherwise, most other places are dry. So let's make sense of it. Here is the 7-day rainfall map. You see those heavy downpours moving through, but it's Tasmania that's going to see the biggest totals, where you're getting up to 100 millimetres falling on the west coast around places like Queenstown. Further to the east, not as much coming through. You can see it again there. Not so much coming in, but certainly really across the continent, not a huge amount of rain falling through for you as we go through into the next 7 days. It's fairly dry. We've got these isolated downpours in South Australia and Western Australia, a couple of them around south of Rockhampton and north of Brisbane. But really, it is a pretty dry week coming up. All right, before I go, the place of the day this week is Bathurst, New South Wales. And yes, I'm aware I'm a week early. Bathurst isn't for another week, but I wanted to show you it today. Here is the main part of the township. Over here, Mount Panorama, that's where all the energy will be and the attention will be next week. Look at the weather for the next 10 days. 19 to 23 degrees, fairly mild. Overnight lows, cold night tonight, down to 3 tonight. But you've got some milder nights on the way. And the 10-day weather forecast is just a mix of sun and cloud. And if you're like me and you are a fan of what goes on at Mount Panorama, you'll probably be wanting an afternoon downpour, because they're kind of fun when you get the big thunderstorm in the afternoon and all the cars start sliding off the tracks. I shouldn't say that, should I? Or is that's part of the sport, surely? Anyway, that's all from me. Have yourselves a great weekend. Good to be back. We'll see you again on Monday of next week.